All right, happy spring, everybody. First day of spring, and we got baseball going on and all that. So, I've been doing some action piece, doing all kinds of baseball, as you know, we always do here. But there's a couple of people that have just picked up action PC baseball, and I know it's been a while since I've done just a really brief kind of overview. So I thought maybe we would do that for a little bit. The guy to go to really to check out in depth action PC baseball Simtistics with Steve Tate. So do make sure you check that channel out to go really deep. But certainly, I can do some in-depth stuff as you would like. And this is just kind of a way to get people sort of into this excellent baseball game. This is a very close second for me. Um, Only beaten out, I think, by Out of the Park baseball. I love baseball for Windows and Diamond Mind. I think they're excellent. But I think the two I play most are Out of the Park Baseball and Action PC. So let's talk about it. So Action PC Baseball, put out by DK Sports, Dave Cook. So right off the bat, new users should feel very comfortable with the fact that these guys, as far as digital baseball goes, DK Sports, best customer service that there is, just the best. Um, can't buy with confidence, guys. Buy with confidence. Um, so a little bit to go through, and that's what we're going to do. So the first thing is, of course, to install the game. One thing that confuses people is the little icon that comes with it. It looks like a WinZip icon or whatever. So when you get that, just double click it, and I would suggest that you just let it install to your C drive. Just best way to go. Best way to go. Um, and then after that's done, it's going to create a directory, and I'll bring this up here for you so you can see it. I actually have it on two different drives, but you don't have to. Um, but I'm going to bring up my Windows Explorer here because I'm just that kind of guy. Just that kind of guy. So the most important directory where everything is going to go is not what you would think. Your like C program files x86. It's not that one. It's DK Sports Data. So this on my C drive, it's 3.11 gigs. I forget how big it is on my D drive. Let's look here really quickly because I have it twice. Just because, and I don't know why. I just do. So yeah, you're talking around 6 gigabytes of data, or 3 gigabytes of data. I'm sorry. So what's in there? All right. So you want to have you're going to go to DK Sports and then DK Sports dash data and then baseball. So here's where all the magic stuff is. So the sounds are in here, all your ballparks are here, player photos. This is where your seasons will go. That when you buy them or you download some freebies or whatever. All your team logos go in here, and also uniforms. These are empty. I haven't downloaded really any uniforms for this game. Manual's also in here, which is accessible from the help menu. If there's sort of one little kind of I have, this manual's not very well written. It really isn't. It's the way it's organized. It's not organized well. I that's my only real knock on the game is I wish Dave would allow me to write the manual. I'm not. It's just that I've got a master's in education and for online learning and things like that, and I would love the opportunity to rewrite this manual because it's just not well written. There's some grammar errors as well and things like that, but nonetheless, it'll get you through some of the basics. But if you want to get into deeper stuff, there's lots more in the game than there is in the manual. So I don't know why the manual is short. It shouldn't be. I think it should be broken down into, okay, chapter one, jump in, here's how you play a game, and then get into the in-depth stuff because you know, creating drafts and this and that. It's basically just short little paragraphs, and I think there needs to be more examples, things like that. But other than that, I really don't have any knocks on this game. You do have to get your hands dirty, um, depending upon the type of project that you're going to do. All right. So anyhow, so you get ballparks. Ballparks are awesome because all these ballparks are just JPEG files that you can find everywhere. You can see between the two directories, I've got a lot of ballparks. So you're never going to be at a loss for ballparks. You can also use, Mike Silva has put his ballparks, the ones that are for out of the park baseball. He has also been kind enough to do a lot of those as JPEGs. You can do that on your own as well. If you go into the out of park, um, settings and stuff like that for ballparks, just you can grab the image of Mike's parks there as well, and all the other parks that are out there. There's tons of resources for ballparks. Okay, so then let's go up one, and of course player photos. Um, Playing without player photos in Action PC is kind of silly because there's no face gen in this, and I don't like face gen either. So mine needs updating. Mine only has 35,000 photos, and I think we're up to somewhere like 44, 45,000. But this is where they go. All right. Seasons. So we got to talk about seasons a little bit here because this can trip people up. Okay. So seasons is basically where you have your installed seasons. Okay, so all these directories here. This is what I have installed from my C drive, and then I have some stuff from my D drive. Hey, there's Nathaniel. Neat. Advocate 8. How you doing, buddy? Just doing this sort of thing here for new people to Action PC Baseball. I haven't done one of these in a while, and rather than have people dig back through all these videos and stuff like that, I thought I would do this. So if I go on my D drive, it would be the same thing. And again, the only reason I just have it in two areas is just because I'm just a goof. You don't have to, but if you do, you can. It doesn't hurt anything at all. So you know, do what you will. So there's again more seasons. Now, the reason I wanted to show you because I haven't copied all the seasons that I bought into that other directory, so I have to go here. And one of the things that really, really, really trips people up with Action PC Baseball is that when you buy seasons from Dave or you buy special collections or whatever, they come as zip files. And so the first thing people want to do is unzip the file because that's what we do, right? We see a zip file. In this game, you don't do that. So you leave them just where you're putting them. There's a few exceptions. So like I bought like the baseball 1800s complete. So that one you do have to unzip, but just about everything else that you're going to find in here, you can see all of these seasons. They are still zipped. They are still zipped. And we'll talk about why you want to do that. So you see there's a lot available for this game. There's some free stuff in here you can get as well that we'll talk about. So the other folders are self-explanatory. The main takeaway from this is do not unzip season files because they won't work. Okay? All right. So in the main body of the game, first thing we're going to do is talk about how to install a season. Since we've just been talking about these zip files and stuff like that, probably a good idea to figure out how to install a season. And pretty easy stuff. So a great thing about Action PC Baseball is you have two main menu systems. So down here are going to be the ones that you're going to use the most, the ones that are in red. So I think this is a really good a good way to kind of if you good user interface, right? So if I click on seasons, right, this is where you actually can change around installed seasons. So you can see all this stuff right here. This is stuff that I have installed on a number of different drives and what have you. Okay, so it looks like I even have an DK Sports data. But you can see here that everything goes to that DK Sports data directory. Okay. Now, to install a season, however, it's a little bit different, at least the way I do it. Just go up here to install, click install, and go to season. Okay. Now, you're going to see here there's just a few seasons when I've just shown you in that directory. It's like I've shown you, hundreds and hundreds, 150 seasons, whatever it is. So what you want to do is you want to look at seasons folder. Again, these are ones that come with the game if you bought like the deluxe version, what have you. Okay. But most of the time as you're buying extra seasons and things like that, you're going to look in your season folder, and you're going to see a lot of seasons there. Now, this is just on my C drive, so I do want to go to where I have them on the D drive, just so you guys can get a better sense of what's going on here. Let me do this. Look in Seasons folder on D. Okay. There we go. So look at all these zip files over here. These are the guys, again, you do not want to unzip these. The program will do that for you. Okay. So the other thing is, if you let me uncheck this because I want to see you, or I'm going to leave this. But this here that's unchecked right now says display all zip files. So if you download something like something from APC Community for Baseball, or if you download stuff from maybe some homebrews people have made, like from Sports Replays, sites like that, and you're going to be looking all through these. It's like, where are they? Or if you're on the McGreevy, the Sports Dreams Discord, Steve Tate's Discord, basically. And if you download his franchise sets, you're not going to find them here. You're going to be all over the place. So just remember to click display all zip files if you get any freebies. Now you can see this is kind of really blown up. Okay, but let's just install a season, show you how easy it is. Okay, so it doesn't matter what season here. We'll just do, let's do 1968. So we just click and we install. Hey, Arnold, it's been a while since we've seen you. Doing well, thank you, my friend. Hope you're doing well as well. So you get a little pop-up window here, guys. It tells you that that the season is installed, and it's called BB 1968. So it still preserves your it still preserves that zip file. So any changes that you make here won't hurt the original directory, right, or the original zip file. It stays zipped. That's really nice. What I would suggest you do, even though Dave, they do keep all your purchases and stuff like that, you do have a limited number of downloads, and while they're really nice and they will give you extra downloads, these season files are really small, and I strongly suggest just do what I do. Just back them up to Google Drive or your OneDrive or any sort of cloud storage that you have, and then you got them. So here you go. The 1968 season is installed. It's not ready to play. You could play, but there's other things that you want to do. But there you go. There's the actual records, everything. There's the Cardinals. There's the Tigers, and ne'er the twain shall meet, except in the World Series, apparently, and now interleague play. Really cool stuff. You've got schedules here, as played schedules, all kinds of stuff like that. But there's way more under the hood than meets the eye. But if I were to play a game right now, you would see some interesting things. So let's just go to the Cardinals. Now, because this game is not licensed by Major League Baseball, only Out of the Park Baseball and MLB The Show have those for digital baseball, you're not going to get real logos. And if it's your first time using Action PC Baseball, you're going to have to do things like assign ballparks and stuff. And I'll show you how to do that. Pretty easy. So I'm going to show you just by doing a couple parks and a couple logos. All right, we'll change to another different Sportsman's Park. Ballparks are kind of the tricky thing in this game. All right, whereas working at the player level and Out of the Park Baseball can be a little bit dodgy. Working with ballparks in this can be kind of weird too. But let's start with logos. Okay, start with logos. So we're going to go to Modify Team. All right. So we're going to go to Modify Team, and we can see here that we do have the Cardinals playing in 1968 Busch Stadium. It says base year is important, right? If you're doing a season replay, then you want to have that team playing in that park because in the 1968 right Busch Stadium, because this does use park effects. Okay. Now let's just do the easy thing first. Let us change the logo. All right. So down here, there's a ton of logos all over the place. So a nice little tip is if you click in here and if you hit Control and S, you're already down there into the S's. And then I'm just going to look for a St. Louis Cardinals logo. And so this is 1968. Again, these logos are available all over the place. Just do some Googling, you'll find them. So there we go. Do that. And then I'm just going to assign this logo. And then if I click OK, now that generic S is changed into the logo that the St. Louis Cardinals would have used in 1968. Arnold Hunter says this is his favorite game. I know Arnold's a big fan of action PC sports in general. I'm sure he would certainly back me up in my assertion at the beginning of this broadcast that as far as digital sports products goes, this is the best customer service that you have here. And this is not a big company; they're small, um, but man, oh man, they get back to you, and I mean quickly. In fact, I have a question about that I need to send to them because the draft with baseball history collection is not working properly this year. I keep getting a division by zero error, and I need to find out why. All right, anyhow, that's how you do logos. Pretty simple. Just pick your logo and assign it, and you're good to go. Okay? And in fact, I don't know if you'll see it here. Let's see. No, because we haven't started the season yet. But when you're looking at like divisions or leagues or something, whoever's the leader, you actually see their logo, which is really cool. But let's go back to St. Louis. All right, now we have Busch Stadium already done here. Busch Stadium 1. Okay, so here's where it gets weird with ballparks. So you go to ballparks and you have two things: park data and park layouts. Let's go to park layouts first. So park layouts, basically where you're going to be positioning fielders, and it's basically the backdrop. Okay, so here we're looking at American League Park, 1902. Okay, and if I would click through a couple of these, right? There's 1910. This is not ready to play. Why is it not ready to play, you might ask? Well, let's make this thing larger and I'll show you why and what we got to do with ballparks. Okay. Try to get this. I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm going to make this bite size for people. So if anybody has questions, and I know the guys in here are action PC players, so they're fine, but this is for new folks. All right, you're going to notice here that there's just icons all over the damn place. Well, what that basically is this defines where your fielders are. It also defines kind of ball flight, things like that. But if we were to play a game right now, just an exhibition game or whatever, using this 1910 version, this is, by the way, painted by Gary Grigsby. Yes, the Gary Grigsby who designs war games. He's also an artist and a big baseball fan and did a whole series of ballparks. And these are really cool looking. It looks a little bit kind of, but it looks good in game. So what you have to do is you kind of have to get everything moved around, and it's very, very customizable what you can do in this game. So I'm going to show you a quick way or a quicker way to set up your field. All right, is the really important ones besides your players are fence heights, but also your grandstands and stuff like that, because that's where that kind of defines the field boundary. Because unlike out of the park baseball, in which the parks are actually geo-referenced, and right, the program can sort of figure out geographically what's going on. What you're doing here is you're taking a two-dimensional image, right, and you're kind of layering on is the best way to put it. You're layering on positions and stuff like that. So your first thing that you do when you get a ballpark, you put in here, you're going to see these things. You're like, oh God, I've got to put what's GSC, what's GSRF, and where's the left field, and where's this, where's that. So hit reset labels. It'll say, yep, reset labels and field markers. So there. A big part of your work actually is already done right now, because all your grandstands for third base, first base, right field, left field grandstands, these are foul territory. These are set. Okay, now, glad I picked this ballpark. Makes things a little bit easier to see. Next thing we'll do here is fence heights. So we see plus LF and negative LF. This is just the top of the fence and the bottom of the fence. So these, you probably, for the ones that are just like marked left field, right field, just put them near the foul poles as close as you can. You know, it's not, you don't have to be surgeon-like skill with this thing, and it's kind of thing where maybe you want to put on some music and just set up your ballparks as many as you want. Somebody did write a sort of little program that tries to do this, but I found that you still have to do a lot of adjusting. Don't worry about getting them exact. There's other. It's not a big deal. So you can see here, I'm defining just the tops and the bottoms of the fence. Just get as close as you can, and don't worry about it too much. Okay, it's not that bad, not that bad at all. And we have everything almost done for the. In fact, the outfield's done. So this outfield's ready to go. All we have to do now is if you have like a player, maybe a ballpark photo, you'll see some players there. Go ahead, use them as guidelines. And if you don't, just put your left fielder wherever you want. Well, not wherever you want. You want to make it look at least decent. Okay. So there's our outfield. And again, these lines here, this is just taken. These are done in the Grigsby's paintings. If I was doing another ballpark, and I'll just show you that. All right, so let's get our first baseman over here. Let's put our second baseman over here. Shortstop, right? And then our third baseman there. All right, there you go. And then 1, 2, 3. That's just first base, second base, third base. Okay. Pop them there again. And the nice thing about this is you only have to do it once. So let's say I was playing a season in a dead ball era, and I was using American League Park, but maybe I was playing in another year or whatever. If I assign this park to a team, I don't have to do this again. Once you do this, it's done. And with each successive edition of Action PC Baseball that you buy, it will actually import all your parks, including your park layouts. Really nice. Okay, so we're almost done. We'll put our on-deck road. Although, because this is an older stadium, the on-deck road should actually be over on the first base side, but I'm not going to be that anal about it. Okay, and on-deck home is over here. And then, again, you can always go in and change things around if you don't like the way they look. Put your right-handed batter up there, somewhere around that part of the box. Left-hand batter there. And there we go. This park is ready to play. It is ready to play. We can fire up a game, use American League Park, and this version from 1910 is ready to go. So I'm going to save it. Boop, and that's it. It's done. Let's find. Now I want you to see what a park looks like. Let's go to Busch Stadium 1, since this is one that we're using for the Cardinals. Let's go back to park layouts again, and let's find Busch Stadium 1. Okay. Hey, there we go. Yeah, just an early quick. I've had a couple people with comments, hey, I just got into Action PC Baseball, not sure how to do this, not sure how to do that. So this is a very, very, again, basic overview. We're not going to get terribly deep. We're not going to get into drafts or um, too much or anything like that tonight, but we'll get into a little bit of nitty gritty. But yep, having fun. So D. Scott Howard is here, says hi to everybody. Everybody greeting everybody. Good to see everyone. Hope you're having a great first day of spring. Finally made it here, huh? So public service announcement for honeybees and stuff right now. So do yourself and do the honeybees a favor, because they're a great source of, they're probably the most important organism on earth, honeybees and trees. If you have dandelions in your yard, don't kill them and don't put weed killer on them. It's the only food they have until you start to see like blooming of like blackberry bushes and stuff like that. So if you want to kill some other weeds, it's cool. But kind of be cool with the dandelions, because that is a honeybee's first food. So public announcement, courtesy of our for planet Earth and for the honeybees, because we need them. All right. Now back to baseball. Let's find Busch Stadium 2. Okay. Oh my God, was it just Busch 1? I forget now. Yeah, bless it. Let me cancel out of here and see what this thing was called again. Yeah, Busch Stadium 1. Okay. Hey, Samuel Smith says good evening. Is the World Baseball Classic working out of park yet? I haven't looked. Tessie Ashpool in here says, hell yeah, support your honeybees. Damn right. Damn right. I haven't checked. John says he just got a cycle possibility, and let us know, man. Let us know and drive for the pennant in Allen Park Baseball. Haven't checked World Baseball Classic. I don't know if that's been added yet. So we'll have to look. Maybe tomorrow night when we do our baseball chinwag. All right, let's go back to ballpark layouts, because we're really taking a lot of time with ballparks, because this is the one that can trip people up the most. Let me see. So we got, just, I don't have anything that says Bush State. Let's just pick, I'm just going to pick this. Just so you can see again. So this park not ready to play, but now we don't have those lines anymore. This is another Gary Grigsby Park. Let me find one that's maybe a photo. Um, there we go. So this one is a little. These are a little trickier sometimes. The photos for setting fence height. So just be mindful of that. And again, I can always you could just always go in and kind of just adjust things. Maybe I want to bring this center fielder in a little bit. Whatever. So that's all park layouts are. Okay. It's park data that is we're going to look at next now. Okay. So if we go back up to ballparks and we go to park data, now park data is where this is kind of like it's like a weird process. And I don't know if this window could be made larger or not. Nope, it can't, unfortunately. So squint. So this is where you're when you're picking the name of a ballpark over here, and then here is where you're going to assign not only like a day image, a night image, and an alternate image. That's what this is all about. And so that when a team you're assigning them to say Bush Stadium or PNC Park or whatever, this is where it's going to look. Okay. And then also you have a lot of things down here that say no name. Well, that's for you putting in maybe parks that aren't represented here. So you find a bunch of minor league parks that aren't in here. You can add those to the game. This game is ridiculously customizable. Okay, so for our neutral park right now, the one that we have set up is Comiskey. So to just show you how this works, a neutral park, when you get a season, and you see you're very, very new to Action PC Baseball, it's just going to assign things. It will have like the name of the ballpark, but you might see. I think the game defaults to Camden Yards. I can't remember because it's been so long. Um, but if I wanted to change this neutral park right now, if what I would do is I would just go down here. Let's say I would do Arlington Stadium. Let's find again. I want to find one that's a photo. Okay, there's the Astrodome. So I could set this as the day photo, and then maybe I could pick another I mean, it's the Astrodome. Who cares? So day, night, whatever. In fact, let's pick one that's a day, night. All right. How about Bank One? There's Bank One Ballpark. Okay. So I can set that as our day photo. And then we down here, we got like Bank One night, and I can assign that as a night photo. So you can see how things are changing day night. And then maybe I want to use another picture as an alternate photo. Maybe this Bank One. I don't know. So I can use this as an alternate photo. So when you play a game like an exhibition game or whatever, you can choose sort of different fields. But this is also how you set up ballparks. So if we go to, let's say, Bank One Ballpark, all right, you can see it's using all three of the same pictures for Bank One. If we go to Braves Field, so there's again, this is old Braves Field. Let's go to the stick. Maybe I want a different picture for nighttime candlestick. Okay, so I can do that. I can just go down here, and again, I can just, if I'm clicking in here, if I type C, I'm already down there. So I can look at different versions of candlestick. All right, there's a candlestick night right there. Okay, and I can assign. Now you'll see this picture in the middle. It'll change. Boop. There we go. Now you got candlestick at night. Maybe you don't like that one. Pick another one. Again, this is not like other baseball games that make you buy ballparks. So there we go. We got the stick at night, and then maybe I want an alternate. Maybe I want an old candlestick for whatever reason. And I'll set that as my alternate. That's how you do them. So when you assign Candlestick Park to a team, you already have these three ballparks ready to go, or these three versions of the stick. If you want to use the same picture for all three, you can. If you don't really care about that, that's fine. But that's how you do this, so that when you're assigning parks, sometimes you'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to assign Baker Bowl to the, let's say you're playing the 1915 Phillies or something like that. But you look and you're still seeing Camden Yards or whatever that default park is. Well, that tells you there that you need to assign and make sure you got a Baker Bowl. That's all you got to do. So that's ballparks. Except for up here, this is really kind of fun stuff right here. So I talked about this using ballparks. Well, this thing goes pretty damn deep. Okay, so you can go back and set ballparks or park effects according to year. So right now, even though we're playing in 1968, if I wanted to really mess around here, I could say, okay, I want to put um, the San Francisco Giants, but I want league effects in here, right? In other words, the statistical impact of a season on this team on this park, and I could pick 1897, even though there was no Candlestick Park in 1897. So do pay attention to that. That's really cool. Um, Here's, of course, this is all self-explanatory: name of the park, the city, how long it was around, its capacity, which of course was way more than 1,999, but we're not going to worry about that. Change up weather here. This is kind of really more cosmetic than anything, but I mean, it does affect things, but I don't really play with that. Don't mess with it at all. There's average temperatures. Out of the park does that as well. You can change. You can change dimensions if you want, but that's how you do ballparks. So just remember, layouts have to do with positioning the fielders, and then in the data is the deeper thing, and that's where you want to go, right, for park assignments. If something is wrong with your ballpark that isn't graphical, look at ballpark data. Corey, hey, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. John's going to keep us up to date. Oh man, Jeff Blauser struck out. Triple, hard one to get, man. Hard one to get. So almost a cycle. Thanks for keeping us updated, John. Corey, everybody, I hope you're doing well tonight. Again, this is just a very basic overview of Action PC for new players. So what we've done here is we've shown you how to set up ballparks and logos. Pretty nice. Now, maybe in another video, what we'll do is show you how to set up lineups, set up bullpens. Now, what's nice about seasons that come from DK Sports is you kind of have this stuff already set for you, which is nice. So we could look at what's a computer lineup going to be versus lefties versus righties. And then if you were actually playing a game, you would just say computer lineup, and it's going to drop your pitcher in there, so you don't have to worry about, geez, who's coming up next. So that's your lineup tab. There's a lot going on here, and we'll talk about this too, because there's a couple new tabs in here that bring it a little bit closer to a sort of out of the park type experience, without the 3D and things like that, of course. Okay, so while we're in here, we're looking at our batters. Everything is sortable here. So if I click on RBI, there we go. We can see Mike Shannon with most RBIs for the 68 Cardinals, who is the big base stealer. Well, we know that was Lou Brock by a long shot, man. But there you go. So everything kind of sortable up there for you. All right. Over here, so let's say you're starting to create rosters, and maybe you don't agree with, or you've created your own homebrew or whatever. If I click on C, now I can start looking at defensive ratings here. Well, Johnny Edwards here is rated as an 8, but Tim McCarver, we see he had more games, 128. So you're probably going to want McCarver, maybe Edwards as a, just to give McCarver some rest days or whatever. So, but all these are sortable, real nice. So you can at a glance see just what you got in your team. So it's not like as like a graphical depth chart here, but I think just having the numbers helpful. And by the way, these numbers, the numbers that you see, the ratings that you see in Action PC Baseball, they are for us, and it gives us a better sense. The ratings themselves are generated from the stats, so it's still a stats driven game. So but you get an idea of, okay, and we'll look at, let's look at somebody. Let's look at Roger Maris here, for instance. So you want to look at anybody's card on a roster, double click it, and there you go. So we look down here and we see his durability rating. We see the type of batter. His base running is a 4. He's got a 0 for a stolen base jump, which kind of makes sense. No stolen bases if you look over here in his stats. How bunt for a sacrifice, bunt for a hit, how he uses a hit and run, his power versus lefties versus righties, and his outfield arm is a 7. So these things are all these ratings are kind of for a quick reference for the player, meaning you, meaning me. But it's a stats driven game, and you can look at anybody once you're on a team's roster. If I wanted to look at Lou Brock, I can just click on Lou Brock, and there we go. And big difference. Look at that, right? His base running is 10. Stolen base jump running is a 10. And again, what's that based on? Well, the fact that the man had 62 stolen bases in 1968. Okay. A little bit of a weaker outfield arm than Roger Maris. If you're a strict lefty righty person, you're going to probably want to start. You would probably think maybe I'll start Lou Brock more against righties than lefties, but 8 and 7, not a big difference. And besides, I want Lou Brock leading off for me. He's going to get on and steal the shit out of bases, right? Okay, so that's that. You can also look at fielding. Now, what else is also versus team? So you can see what every player has done against every team in your replay or in your project. Again, pretty standard stuff, but I think very, very helpful. Game logs will be here. So what the player did. And I'll show you like a season I'm doing in progress. You can see what game logs look like. Manager. Manager, there's a couple ways to work with manager that's pretty important. And the reason I'm not interacting a lot with the chat is I'm kind of making this a bite-sized thing for people to kind of refer back to. All right, Tony M. Good evening, Tony. How you doing? Good to see Tony. Good to see all of you guys here tonight for this little bit of tutorial. And if everybody wants a game after, we certainly can do a game. All right, so this is where you can kind of manage your player at a player level. Now, I will say this. It's pretty deep. This is not as deep as out of the park baseball in any way for players at the player level. It does pretty well. So like down here, especially how you're going to use him. And there's a whole list. I'm not going to read them all. Okay. So if he was a pitcher, but here's his offense manager. Do you want to limit him his batting versus lefties versus righties? Do you want to pull him for a pinch runner? Well, you can see that's unchecked. But if I click somebody else, we could go back to Roger Maris. Now, see, there's nothing here for Maris, but maybe I would want to pull him for a pinch runner. If I do, I would just click pull for pinch runner. Okay. You can set preferred batting positions. Versus lefties versus righties, which is nice. There's a little defense manager here. And for pitchers, you have this. We don't want him to pitch as a starter or a reliever. Okay, so that's the same thing. I mean, we go to Bobby Tolan, and so we can see here for Bobby Tolan, you never want to pull him for a pinch runner. Okay, I mean, he's got a stolen base jump of 7. So usage. This has to do, this tracks, one way to track kind of player usage, fatigue, stuff like that. And what's important about Action PC Baseball is it's got a pretty cool fatigue system in it. I will say that the best fatigue system I've ever seen in a digital baseball game is APA PC Baseball for Windows, and it's Advanced Injury Management. It's just the best. And one of the reasons it is because if you have a player you haven't played for a while, he'll get itchy. And sometimes that will work out to your advantage. So it will kind of, well, you haven't started this guy in a while, maybe you should start him. And sometimes they will like overperform. So, but again, not many of you play that game. Unfortunately, you should be playing it. It's excellent. But it has a good fatigue system. It's good. But let's get out of this part now and let's look at the larger manager. Well, actually, before we go to that, I just want to make sure we're covered here. So you can you can set up inactive periods for each of your players. Okay, so maybe it's somebody that you want them you want them inactive until September call ups. Well, you could pick boom and just do it. But if you guys have the game, go in. Don't be afraid to play around here, okay? Because you can always clear things and stuff like that. So his total availability here is for the entire year. You can change availability as well. Do bear in mind that any game like Out of the Park Baseball, Action PC, Baseball for Windows has a lot of moving parts. There's a lot going on. So don't be afraid though. You can't. You're not going to break the game. You're not going to break the game. All right. Um, of course, we can go. There's tolling on the web, and if I click that, it brings up a browser, and there you go. So it tells us about Bobby Tolan, and then right there is his baseball. Go to baseball reference for Bobby Tolan, and then all kinds of things about Bobby Tolan. Okay, so nice little handy dandy thing if you want to do a little bit of extra research, because if you look in batting here, you're not seeing you're well, in the roster cards you're not seeing everything. So now here we can, so we can see he had one triple. But if I exit out of here and if I look at Bobby Tolan here, you'll notice that not every stat is tracked. So you actually do have to go in to a player's card to look at more stats. Okay, just so you know, this is where you're gonna get runs created and all that fun stuff. All right. But let's go across here. So here's our pitchers. Same thing if I would go in, look at Bob Gibson. And again, you're going to see that same manager screen, but now I'm going to be working mostly over here. So my starter preferences, so I don't want to pitch. Well, Bob Gibson, I'm going to let him pitch as much as he wants. But maybe I don't want him to pitch. So if you're playing like this modern sissy baseball, then just go ahead and you don't want your guy to go past 6 innings if you don't. Right? Or when leading by. So this is when just go in and play. This is what I would say. Relief, you want to do relief preferences. You can set that up. Pinch hit for when. Okay, so if you're leading by 3 or more innings in a certain inning, okay, and you want to give some guy, or you're leading by 1 or 2, or it's tied, or if you're trailing, when you want to pull. And this is for every hitter, okay, or for everybody. So play around with it. You can also generate computer usage if you want to. Feel free. All right. Now, let's move on. Here's where all the lefty righty splits are gone. And down here you can see real stats. And this is true of anything. So we go here, we see real stats. So this is the 1968 stats for these guys. Let's put them in alphabetical order. There we go. But when you do a season replay or a project, then you have replay stats. Of course, right now everything is 0 here because we haven't played anything with 1968. Okay. And we haven't even gotten into the super cool stuff yet. Okay. So there's your batting left righty. There's pitching. Let's go back over here actually. So we've got how they're even rated at, for positions, stuff like that. You can see everything at a glance there. So very, very nice to do that. You can sort, again, all sort here. So there's your lefties, your righties, and your switchies on the team. Pretty cool. Same with pitching, lefty and righty. You can see their real stats, how right-handed hitters hit against Nellie Bryles that year versus lefties. So pretty cool stuff right in there. Yeah. Okay. Let's go on. This will show. This is going to compare. If you want to look at things at a quick glance. Okay. Again, how's player X? Let's say how's Lou Brock doing? Versus the actual 1968 season. So this RP is going to replay. It's going to show you replay just at a glance. And again, you can go deeper, and I'll show you that in a sec too. So right here, for instance, right, Lou Brock with 6 home runs. Well, maybe in your replay so far he's hit 2. So you'll see a little 2 up there. This will keep tracking all the way through. Really nice. You want to get a deeper look at Brock during your replay. So here you will see real. But down here is replay, and this tracks everything. Down here, you're going to see another really cool thing, too. If a player has a hitting streak, what's his longest hitting streak of the season? How many grand slams? Has he had any inside the park home runs, long home runs, cycles? All this good stuff is there. Has he been ejected? Because there are ejections in this game, too. There are suspensions in this game if you set them up. How many times has he been on left on base? Things like that. So you can get super deep into this. But moving on here, let's go to usage batting. So you're going to see a 0, and then you're going to see a number in parentheses. So this defines player usage. When you start exceeding this, this is where your players will start to be penalized. Hey, Legend Sports Universe, how you doing, man? Good to see you. So, guys, I got to do my Legends commercial. Subscribe to the channel. Follow Legend Sports Universe, the Franchise Stars Baseball League. He also does boxing, football, basketball, hockey. Give him time, and there'll probably be, who knows, judo, curling, uh, whatever. It's just great, great stuff, man. It's just great stuff. So down here, it will say for league usage rules. Okay. So the real percentage, for instance, is going to be the replay percentage of real life. So you do want to kind of sort of keep track of this. Because if you're starting to see your guy, and you'll get warnings in the game. Hey, this guy's like really fatigued. He's reaching his max usage, and if you ignore that, right, and these numbers will start filling in pace, right, and at bats, right. So again, you have your reels, but these at bats are going to start filling in as you're playing the game, and what pace is he on versus real. So you want to be careful of player fatigue in this game, as in just about any baseball game. All right, same thing for usage in pitching. Okay. Info. Dave Cook Sports WAR rating uses real stats normalized by year, park-specific left-right split adjustments, and DKS ratings. Wins above replacement is for display only and is not used in determining play results. So rest easy for those of you that are not fans of wins above replacement. It's not used for determining play results. Okay, that's just. This is kind of a little rating system. You can also see who's on your your injured list or what have you and stuff like that. Okay, so great ways to look at your players at a glance. And when you're dealing with baseball leagues, let's face it, even if you go back to like something like the dead ball era, you're still dealing with like 400 and some players, so, or whatever it is, 200 players, 300. It's still a lot to go through. All right, bio, pretty self-explanatory. Really, you're going to use this tab mostly if you're doing like cross-era play and stuff like that. If you're doing a Ned McGreevy type league or something, this is going to tell you what year the player is representative, his real home park, things like that. Notes. This is something that's really cool, and we got to give Steve Tate huge credit for this. Checks in the mail. Thank you, Legends. Thank you, man. All right. And I'll be PayPaling that other 20 to you, too. So this is cool. Steve noticed something about this. You can change notes in this thing, which is super, super cool. So when Steve was doing his Negro League players, he's done about 400 of them using the Major League equivalencies. He was able to write a kind of, it's all the characters you have, but just kind of like little highlights about the player. So maybe you might want to be, maybe you want to make a note about Curt Flood here, challenge the free agent rule, whatever, lost in court, but did pave the way for blah, blah. If you wanted to, you make whatever notes about the player. You can even just make notes like, hey, maybe you're in a I'm just trying to paint some scenarios. Maybe you're in an online league, and yes, you can play this game head to head. And anybody wants to play sometime, let's play. We can do it right here on the broadcast. Maybe you can make notes. Hey, I want to, Joe Horner. Somebody's looking for a pitcher, Horner. Looking to trade him, whatever. Use notes for whatever you want. All right, manager. So manager this is where you're going to be doing, and this says it uses daily lineups. So these are the lineups. Sorry, guys, I got to grab some water. These are the lineups, and these will change every day. And these are the lineups from 1968 as played. Pretty nice, pretty cool. You can change it. You want to? Go for it. So this will explain to you what you can do. So occasionally sub for players on pace to exceed real life usage. Always good to have that checked. Then that way you're not going to get nagged by the program, right? You can sub for tired catchers and other players. Just think of what a baseball manager would do. Okay. Now we go to view all manager settings. Again, this is not as deep as out of the park baseball, but I still think it gives you a lot to work with. You can't. So this is an overall strategy here. Um, so now the park baseball. Let's say if we were looking at the 1968 Cardinals, I could look at Lou Brock and say, okay, I want Lou Brock to even steal more aggressively or whatever. I can fine tune that. So you can't get to that level. You have some, as I've shown you, some control over your players or how they're managed at the player level. It's not at the out of park level, but this is good. It's still good, but what's neat is what's cool here is, of course, you can set up all kinds of things here. Right now, everything is set to average. So, do you want your this computer manager to maybe try for extra bases? Well, maybe for a team like the Cardinals, maybe I want to put this to often instead of average. If I'm playing dead ball era or 19th century, maybe I want to go to very often. If I'm playing in 1950s baseball, which and 1960s baseball, like other than guys like Brock or whatever, but say the 50s where the stolen base kind of wasn't as much of a thing, maybe you want to go rarely, okay? Or just leave them as average. When, how much do you want to hit and run? Do you want to try to steal home? Things like that. And you can adjust that if you go to tools, which is where you are in tools right now. So for defense, you want to throw for runners. You want to when will this manager play the infield in? And you can define that as anything from the fourth inning on to like never play the infield in, which would be really silly. Guarding lines, again, that's a later inning type thing. Do you want to hold runners more? 10 pickoffs, all this there for you to read. Pitcher settings, okay? If you don't want to get into the nitty gritty, you can say pull pitcher after allowing 4 runs or whatever you decide, anything from nothing up to 10 runs, okay? Which you're going to do it. Same thing with relievers. Pull when tired. So you can put always pull when tired, or maybe you don't want to. Maybe you want them to grit it out, take some innings, whatever. Um, EPC is expected pitch count. So you can sort of kind of mess around with all this kind of stuff. So that's for starters, relievers. Okay. I never mess with GM roster stuff, but if you want to, you can. I don't. You can reset depth in lineups here. So down here, um, right, it's going to show never alter preset lineups, best for short season, blah, blah, blah. Sub for tired catchers. We've already seen this again, okay? Just go in and play with these things. You can set up lineup choices if you want versus the pitchers that you're going to face if you want to do that. Okay, so if I double click, I can pick all these lineups, and there are 5 lineups, say versus lefties and 5 versus righties, and I can just go ahead and say, all right, we're gonna be facing Milt Pappas. I want lineup number 3 versus righties against Milt Pappas. If you want to get that deep into it, you can do it. So there's a lot here you can work with. Okay. You can just do a generic kind of thing and set all teams to whatever settings you've made. You can have the computer set everything. Just do computer and click OK, whatever. Okay. Play around. Don't be afraid of this. Okay, manage batters. Let's go here. So this is kind of an interesting little fun screen. This is where you're defining the roles in your roster. Dwayne Martz, good evening, buddy. Dwayne's got to be getting pretty excited because we're about 3 weeks away from the release of Digital Diamond 13. I know I'm stoked for it. So, excitement. So, this is where you really get into the fine. And by the way, the NA, the guy just means these guys are not available right now. But I'll show you how to do that next. So again, trying to move along quickly with this so you guys can kind of go through and get a better sense of just some of the surface deep stuff you can do with this, right? So we got Kurt Flood. So we're never gonna pull him, right, for a pinch runner. But here we got Ron Davis, and he's used as a pinch runner. Okay, when do you want to use him? When can they be used? So maybe we can see Dick Schofield here, for instance. He could be used against a lefty as early as the fifth inning, or if against the righties as early as the third. Okay. Again, we're not going to pull Mike Shannon, but we could use him as a pinch hitter from the seventh inning on, and you can change stuff like this if you want. So great way. And here's your late defense stuff. This is the way to set up things. This is also going to give you just ratings comparisons for what a player could do. So we look here at Bobby Tolan. Here, we're probably going to be best to use, Tolan as a DH. But if we're just looking here at fielding, you can see these numbers. Okay. Same thing with managed pitchers. When do you want to, for other uses? So if we look at Nelson Briles, okay, he's a starting pitcher, right? But when are you going to pull him? Well, if he's given up 7 runs, you're probably going to pull Nelly Briles. If you want to pull him from a pinch hitter, 8th into the 10th, or if he's getting blown out, okay? It's also going to show the next time, right, when they're pitching, things like that, okay? Career batting, career pitching, this stuff has to do with when you're getting into the actual play of your season, okay? Here's your overall team stats. So again, right now, we're seeing real stats down the line here. But as you're playing, you'll start to see these things sort of fill in here, okay? Team history, same thing. And then this will be any box score. And any one of these, if we played any one of these games, and you kind of just wanted to track how whatever team you're managing, how they were doing, you want to go back and say, how we've been doing against Philadelphia. Well, let's look at this, right? And if I were to double click that, nothing's going to come up right now. But if this was a played game, we'd be able to bring up that box score, okay? Digital Diamond 13 will have 9 game modes. I know, right? Including the automated status pro engine. I cannot wait. You guys, you won't see it at the level that Dwayne Martz does it, but you guys will see a lot more Digital Diamond on the channel this year. Not doing what Dwayne does, though. I'll do different stuff because he's the guru. Maybe I can get him on here to sort of talk about. But I know a lot of the same people are both of our little families here, so. So there's a bit of what's going on there. But there's more. Oh my God, there's so much more. So let's just start with play. All right. So we go to play, and we're just going to let it load up here. And I haven't changed any logos, but you have two. This will give you who the projected starting pitchers are. And again, because it is using actual rotations, lineups. There we go. So you got them. You choose to play or autoplay a game. So this is pretty simple. You can play a range of games. I could just play everything of April 10th. If I hit this, it's going to play everything out of April 10th. If I want to play the entire month, I can do it. I could just play through a certain date. I can play all games. So if you play all games, this is going to do the whole season. You can pause at any time during a replay if you want to do that, okay? You choose to play human games last. Do you want to just play all games for a team? You can do it. Pick your team. So let's say you just wanted to you wanted to play all the games for the Chicago Cubs. You could do that. The Pittsburgh Pirates, whatever, okay? Play screen's pretty simple. Has nice tabs here. This is where you're going to be able to track leaders once everything gets started. So great way to look at things. Standings, pretty fun here, and just upcoming games in your league. So this is the easy one. This is really easy to do, so we'll jump out of it. If you go to exhibition's kind of cool, and we're going to get to the top menu in a little bit, but I want to cover a little bit of this. This is probably the ones you're going to most use after installing a season, which we've shown you. Exhibition game. Now, exhibition game is interesting. And I'll tell you why. So we could just do an exhibition game right now if I had this thing set up, let's say between the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins. Boom, boom, and play. We could pick what park we wanted to play it at, the date, everything, and stats are not kept for exhibition games. However, I will caution you. There's one I haven't checked to see, but this has been something that's a recurring weird thing in action PCs. So you got to kind of work around this another way. Let's say I wanted to do a game with the Boston Red Sox of 1968, but I wanted to put them against another team from another year. So I would get back up here to seasons, and it's going to look, just remember, at your installed seasons. And maybe I want to play them against, I don't know, whatever the hell I have in here. It doesn't matter. I'll just, okay, a team from 1987. Sometimes it's going to, like, so if I wanted to play them against the Montreal Expos, sometimes what you're going to see in the field of play and stuff like that, the names are sometimes going to be wrong. There's better ways to do it than this way, but you can do it. Okay, but if we just get back up to seasons and we pick 1968, we're fine. I would just suggest doing that way. So right now, if we wanted to do the Boston Red Sox, the Yankees sucked in '68, but if we wanted to do the Red Sox and the Yankees, and we could play it. It doesn't have to be Yankee Stadium. You can play in any ballpark that you have. You can do it, and bam, you're ready to rock. Okay, but we're not going to do that right now. Let's cancel. All right, rosters you guys have already seen, but there's a lot going on with rosters. This is where you can actually customize leagues. You can move teams around, change names, everything like that. Might seem trivial, but it's actually very, very, very cool. So just keep that in mind. Play around with this. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail about this screen, but there you can see there's all the upcoming schedule and stuff like that. You can change from here too whether you who you want to be, computer who or computer and human managed. You can do that up here. You can also modify stadiums. So if we go to we double click on Yankee Stadium, are you sure you want to change the location for this game? I could click yes, and if I do that, I could, if I just wanted to be goofy, play it at Burns Park, whatever Burns Park was. So that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. That's kind of cool, right? You can set series lengths. So this is a way you can hand create a schedule. All right. There's also a 10-minute ticker. You guys already know what the 10-minute ticker is because you guys all go to RGO Network. Basically, a 10-minute ticker, letting you know what's going on around the league. Okay, I'm gonna exit this. Click on any team here in rosters, and you can look at them. So let's give the Bucks here a little love in '68. So there's the Pittsburgh Pirates. There they are. Okay, and this is everything as it started in the season. So Al Oliver is not available. Bill Verdon, Richie Hebner, Chris Canizzato. Okay, but that's old ground. So we go to teams. This is what's fun. And I'll show you this with Steve Tate's thing. But let's say I wanted to import a team into 1968 or maybe two. So I go to import teams. Guess what? Any season that you have installed, right, you can import a team. So if I wanted to go to 1929 and I wanted to bring in the Philadelphia Athletics just to trounce the crap out of everybody, then I could just go import one team. And then the reason I'm showing you this is because at first blush, this looks like just a little sort of text file. And so, we're not used to being able to move things around in text files. Well, here you can. So here's the Philadelphia A's. I could move them. Let's move them up here. I don't know. Okay, please select an available location. So they're already here. But maybe I want to move them down. Oops. Yeah, I know. Here, this. So look. Yep. I'm going to do that. Just leave me alone. All right. See how I can scroll? Look. Now I've moved them down. So this looks like a text document, but there. All right. So if I click exit, and exit. Okay, there they are. They're in their own division, and I could rename this division. So this is a great way if you own a lot of seasons, or if you have Steve Tate's baseball history franchises, right? 5-year franchise leagues, which are awesome and freely available. All the players carded by Steve. This is where you can actually import entire teams, create custom leagues, or do something simple. Maybe you want to just really mess around and you want to put the Pirates over in the American League and bring, I don't know, bring the Orioles into the National League. Go ahead, have fun with it. Okay. So let's go ahead and delete. Let's go to delete teams and let's get rid of the Philadelphia Athletics in 1968. Okay. Boom. And delete selected teams and please confirm and team deleted. There. Now we're back to 1968. So play with this as much as you want. Um, we've looked at schedule, rules. Rules. We're going to click rules. A lot of tabs. So now we're starting to get a little deeper into the game. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate the kind words. As Dwayne, obviously, man, you are the guru of Digital Diamond Baseball. You're the man. And one of the things you guys want to do if you're getting into Digital Diamond Baseball before Dwayne does do another tutorial, even on his channel, and hopefully I can get him on here to talk a bit about it too, is man, changing font size, scaling fonts and stuff. Dwayne knows how to work his way around this. You want to get to know how to use syntax and stuff like that. Dwayne Martz knows like just Digital Diamond Baseball. He could be a developer. The way Steve Tate is with Action PC Baseball, the way Mike Garland is with Out of the Park Baseball. So these are go-to guys in the community to learn a new game from. Seriously. All right. So this has some fun game modes to it. So if you want as played, you can play as played, okay? And this includes complete transactions, and these are the actual active players for the game. So you want strict replay, there you go. So this is, and then the next one is all transactions. You can just do that. The computer will set lineups and starting pitchers for each game. So this is going to override. Okay, then you just have major transactions for that year. No transactions. Maybe you just want to do something where what happened if this trade wasn't made? How would this play out differently? You can do that. And then this is cool. I'm not going to read this really, really long thing. If you have Action PC, check out alternate reality mode. This has it, and Out of the Park has it too. Out of the Park's um, alternate reality mode was a little bit hidden in some prior editions, but now you can actually see it. Alternate reality starts basically what this is the ratings are hidden, so it's going to shake things up in a way that you can actually play the same season over and over and over and let the computer auto play the entire season, but things are going to come out a little bit differently. Maybe you can just jump in and GM a little bit if you want. So there's a touch of GM in this game, not like Out of the Park Baseball, but I don't play GM in that anyhow. So think about this, right? You're going into a new season. You have no idea. You know what your guy did last year as a pitcher, as a hitter, or whatever. But you really you can only kind of get an idea, right? Or based on last year, this guy hit 32 home runs. It's probably safe to say he's going to hit, 28 to 35. He might not, or his batting average is not going to fluctuate to the point where it's unrealistic. Where let's say you were playing 1927 and all things being equal, Babe Ruth only hits 3 home runs. That's not going to happen unless you have injuries set up where he gets injured in a game, he's out for the season. But it's going to shake things up just enough that you've got to get a little bit deeper and say, okay, maybe it will do things like Babe Ruth would have a slow start, or maybe he has a fast start, goes into a slump, whatever, and it's not going to follow the exact season. So alternate reality mode is the polar opposite of as played, but it's super fun, and I think something that would be especially useful again in a fantasy type league. Okay. All right, so next thing is our general tab. This is where you set schedules, things like that. This is where you turn on or off the DH. Maybe you just want it for interleague or what have. Allowed pool pitcher remain in the game as DH. So apply park effects. Now, this is really important, and this is one that I want to just linger on here for a moment. This little thing here, improve left-hand pitching performance in small leagues. Okay, what's nice about this is when you're playing a type of cross air league or whatever, left-handed pitchers are going to take a beating because they're facing better. So let's say like a an all-time greats league, lefties will tend to suffer. So when you hit this, all right, they're improved. They're going to be pitching better. Again, they're not going to become dominant. It's not going to be like every lefty in the league now is going to be mowing them down. Like Rube Waddell or Lefty Grove. But guys like Lefty Grove and Rube Waddell do take some hits. So if you're playing a cross-era league, click this. If you're not, leave it alone. If you're playing a regular season replay, but I did want to touch upon that. Okay, for left-right splits, you can set per plate appearances how you want those to be. If you want that always for left-to-right splits, or maybe you just want to limit it. Maybe you don't care about generic. These are generic left-to-right splits. Maybe 50 plate appearances, whatever. This is useful for, again, playing back in the day when they weren't keeping lefty-righty splits, when they weren't keeping those kinds of stats. It uses a really neat algorithm to kind of give you a simulated, right? Because you didn't have left right splits kept. They weren't keeping that kind of statistic or what have you in 1910, let's say. Okay. Do you want to choose to have your bullpen warm up? Okay. Do you want to allow estimated pitch count editing? I don't play with bullpen warm up. The only game I play that in is pocket pennant run because I like the way it does it. Batter pitcher clocks. I never will ever turn this on ever ever ever. But I will. I do like. I kind of pitcher catcher fatigue, that sort of thing. All this stuff is seasoned to taste, guys. I think that ejections are fun. Again, that you can set alternate reality settings down here if you want. Okay. For replay, do you want to allow replay reviews and how many reviews per team? Crew chief reviews. I don't do these. I don't like reviews. I like umpires. Um, there's rules for batting team era. So sacrifice fly. So you guys, I'm sure there was starting in 1954, the rules for what constituted sacrificing changed. So um, you want to be aware of that if you're again getting super super deep into your replay, all the stuff that you can do. Do you have to do all of this? No. You don't have to do any of this actually and still have a really enjoyable baseball game, but I did want to show you the depth here. Okay, let's move on to rosters here. Do you want to have opening day as usual, 25 in baseball? But if you choose, oh no, man, I want to have 40 players on my opening day roster, go for it. Maybe you only want to have 15 players. I don't know. Use transaction dates, daily lineups. So again, go in and play. Okay, you can turn on all team computer GMs if you want. Let's go to usage. So this is where we talked about players taking a hit if they get overused. So you can fine tune. Okay, moving just quickly now. So we're going into our miscellaneous stuff. Again, you can choose here what to do or what not. You can have a game screen, play analysis, outcome box, bullpen and pinch hitter screens, things like that. Opening menu, favorite teams. So you can click any of these. And if I would just click Cleveland, this opening menu, if you can define what's in the opening menu, would just show Cleveland, and that's it. So you can choose what you want to do there. Okay. For quick play is basically what it is. What can I say? You can pause games during innings if a score is within a certain amount of runs or tied or whatever. Okay, I don't want to overwhelm you too much with this. This is really about you guys getting in there and playing. So, do we want to pause the game for an injury? Maybe not, but fights and ejections are fun. So let's click those. All right, and then finally, let's just go to info. All right. So this is just basically right. This is where you can pick a team logo if you had them. I don't have one for the 1960s, but maybe you might want to, pick the All-Star Game logo or something for that year or whatever. Or if you just want to play, you know, whatever you want to do. So see there, we just put in there one for the American League, um, but I'm not going to do any logo. So we just go to JPEG and that clears it out. Display team year on standings. So this is good for mixed era leagues. Again, just play. All right, so that's that screen that we just went through. All right, so that's our nice setup screen. So we're gonna cancel. No, I want to save that because fights and stuff. Fights are fun. What else can we do here? You can also you can modify teams, create new teams. All right, and we go to league. We can create a new blank league. You can create a draft league from here, so that's cool. And then players. You can look at your players' database, leaders, free agents. You can release all players into a draft pool and start all over. So maybe you want an alternate 1968. You could change everything up, do whatever team names you want, redraft them. Lots to do in this game. This is pretty crazy stuff. All right, we've done rules. Here's tools. Rules and tools, baby. So you can set all stats to 0, delete existing injuries before opening day. So this is for league reset up here. Very, very clear. This is reset. Okay. Over here, player availability tools. Okay. Set all players active. I can do that if I want. If I wanted everybody fit, healthy, ready to go, all I have to do is click that and click execute availability, ready to go. All right. Um, this is kind of a nice one. So for partial players, these are guys that are just like cut off from below the knees. No, place combined players with team he played with the most. So in this case, you might for if you want to do that, do it. You could so for the 1979 Pirates, you'd have Tim Foley on there for the whole season. Okay, here's where you can release all player, delete all teams, set all teams to computer GM or human GM. So that's team tools. This is where you set up default photo names. I usually don't mess with this because most of the photos that you're going to use, or all the photo sets that I've used, use first underbar last.jpg. But maybe you have a different photo set you found somewhere else. You have the freedom to change that. Okay, you can put the player's year suffix or prefix, whatever you want. Team abbreviations if you want. Okay. Maybe you were one of those people that found that you have like these old player photos hanging around their bitmap file. So you can choose between JPEG and bitmap if you want. Okay. And then edit teams, players, whatever. Okay. All right. So that pretty much covers or tools. Free agents. These are all free agents. This is where you can start right. It's showing a complete draft. So, but this is actually a draft screen. We're not going to get into the draft at all tonight. We're just not doing it because the draft is its own crazy thing. But I will tell you that if you're using something like the baseball history collection or whatever, you can actually define years. Or if you have a bunch of seasons that you've loaded in or a bunch of teams from different seasons, I should say that, then you can start defining years and stuff like that. So, but this is beyond the scope of basic. We're already gone beyond the scope of basic. And then exit. Wow, there you go. It exits. Derek, how you doing, man? Derek, if do you have what's your Saturday evening looking like? Like I know it's a short notice. What's tomorrow evening look like for you? George Foreman? Wow, let's check that. George Foreman. No way. Really? let's just wow, legends, that is huge. Oh man. Yeah, he died 76 years old. Wow. Oh man. George Foreman has passed away at the age of 76. Let's give a little love here to George here for a second. There it is, guys. So Ali Frazier Foreman, no longer with us. George Foreman has passed away at the age of 76. Foreman was a two-time world heavyweight champ and Olympic gold medalist. So 1949 to 2025. May his memory be eternal. Great George Foreman. Thank you for that, legend. Sad news, but wow. You're available. All right. So I'm going to reach out to you tomorrow evening on Derek on Facebook. Love to have you on. I was telling the guys earlier in the week, and I'm going to tell everybody here now, hanging out. If you play baseball for Windows, these are just the latest things Derek's done on his channel. Play baseball for Windows. If you play old time baseball from Stormfront Studios, two excellent games. Derek shows you how to set up and do drafts, season simulation. The draft, I mean, the season simulation is really good. The draft stuff is the best for those games. So good. I watched them, and Derek was actually able to clear up a couple things I was a little bit unclear of, especially in pardon me, old time baseball. All these years I've been playing old time baseball, I just thought, oh geez, all the switch hitters were in there as righties. Well, you can actually change them to switch hitters. Check out Derek Bain's channel, and hopefully, we're gonna have him on tomorrow night. I know it's short notice, but I'm gonna try to pimp it out all day here and stuff like that. So tune in, guys. It's gonna be a great discussion. This is a man that knows his baseball, um, just every which way you can. It was written excellent books, so many helpful tutorials have gone on his website. Talk about that, basically giving Derek the whole floor. And I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun. I think he's going to bring insights to this community that we normally wouldn't have. This is a man who's actually sat down and talked to actual major league GMs and things like that. Um, so I'm so chuffed to get Derek on for hopefully the first of a number of visits. Appreciate it. Hardest hitter in boxing history, according to Muhammad Ali. That him and Ernie Shavers. Yeah, Ali said Foreman, what a hard hitter. Boy, and how George reinvented himself. He's always seemed very sort of taciturn and things like that when he first faced Ali and all those guys. But then he became a sort of Muhammad Ali, in a way, very more outspoken. I mean, hey, the guy, regains the world heavyweight champion, right? Probably the greatest title in sports, arguably so. George Foreman, you will be missed. Frazier, Ali, and Foreman, man. And I mean, I'm not forgetting about guys like Kenny Norton and what have you, but wow, this is huge. This is a huge loss. So memory eternal, George Foreman. Wow. All right, boy, how do you go from that to back to what we were talking about? Hard standings, but we're gonna do it. I think George would say, "Continue, man." So standings is standings, and what's cool about this is you can export things, you can look at things as text files and stuff, and that will become important when we look at deeper reports in this game. And believe me, this game goes crazy deep. There's your database. So quick way to look at database if you just want to look at, you know, uh, you just want to look at lefties, right? You can just look at lefties. It's going to update. So these are the lefties in this league, and we can scroll down and see what they are, right? And then anybody you double click on here. So we're looking at Tony Soleita. Nice little Italian pronunciation for you. There's Tony, and there's all his stats, whatever. So when you can see a player name, you have to double click on it. That's cool, right? All right, you can do this as a you can export as a CSV file, by the way. So comma delimited and pop this thing into Excel or whatever. So if you want to do that, if you don't want to look, we can view, we can print. So if you don't want that messy sort of look there, export it as a comma delimited file, and you're ready to rock. Tessier Ashpool says, love George Foreman's commentary with Lampley on HBO Boxing. Couldn't believe it when he heard how hard of a puncher he was. Seems so nice. How about it? He did. That Michael Moore knockouts when the title 45 was incredible. Wasn't it? George came back, man. George did it up. George did it up. Um, Geez, that's heavy stuff, man. So hoping that maybe Legends and maybe our Red Sox fan will be do something on their channels because they both do boxing about the great George Foreman. He will definitely be missed. My favorite, I mean, he's one of my favorite. He's not my favorite boxer of all time, but certainly one of them, and an absolute world of respect for George Foreman. Man, that's sad. That is sad. Another thing here, guys, I do want to show you with the database is everything sortable. So right now we're looking at left-handed hitters in 1968, and there's Stretch. There he is, man. Okay. Let's look at maybe bats. Let's look at switchies, and well, let's look at home runs again. There's Mickey. So Mickey 18 home runs in 1968. So Mickey near the end of it anyhow. We know the Yankees sucked then. But these are the switch hitters for that year. So a lot of fun to be had here. You can set your criteria for batting minimums to get rid of guys that were, here like Ken Henderson, who 3 at bats, whatever. So have fun with this. Have fun. You can just do. You can display by position, and then it's going to sort everything out by position, and then you can boom right here, boom, 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 and you can look at catchers, right? And then bats, just all, and this is gonna bring in everybody now, okay? And of course, Frank Howard, good old Hondo there in 1968, 44 home runs. All right. You'll see something similar, of course, in the draft screen, and that is where you can set years. And then you can tell the computer, okay, and I've shown how to do this before, and I'll do it again. So to set up something with the baseball history collection, and let's say you want to create a draft league from players from 1965 to 1989, you can do that. And this drafts very well, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and exit this. We've gone over rules already, so we don't have to show that again. Tools, we've shown tools. Setup, and again, I'll remind you, setup, this is more, so setup is where you're going to be customizing the look of your game on field. So you can choose from a number of different options. You want your play call box to be tall or wide. I like it wide and small. You're again, just this is just all cosmetics. Okay, think about this as a sort of like widgets that you have in Out of the Park Baseball. And Legend says, funny, he was planning on a boxing card tonight, but he's got work in the way. Well, hopefully, looking forward to a something on your channel, even just to talk about George or what have you. I think it'd be great. I know, I'm sure Al will be doing it as well, and you guys do boxing. You guys are superb. You guys are superb. Okay, so there's all of this that you can, do you want a scoreboard? Do you want your scoreboard large, small? Do you want no scoreboard? Well, I don't know why you wouldn't want no, because this game has great things as far as scoreboard. You do want a scoreboard, okay? Um, so team records, whatever. Um, and then do you want the visiting team to be a nickname, or do you want it to be the city, and the same for the home team, right? And then your lineup display can be team colors, or if you don't want, I know sometimes I run into things where you'll get like black on dark blue and kind of a drag to read. I can override this globally by getting rid of team colors, and maybe I want the design to be, maybe black, um, the lineup display, or maybe I want it to be gray, tan, what have you. Okay. You can show real stats in 3/4 screen or full screen, and that's up here. So you can look at the game. Some guys like MV like 3/4 screen because you see a lot more stats. I like full screen, so I leave it at that. Again, season to taste. Let's go on to player displays. This is the way I like to show them. I like to see their position, their rating, and I want it done as a square. So you can see down here, um, like for Ozzie Smith, that's the way I look like it. Some other player, some people like just uniform numbers in a little circle. I don't use player photos on field. I don't like. I like the way they look on the lineup screens and your pitcher. I don't like the sort of floating heads in action PC baseball, but a lot of people do. This is where you can set that up. Okay. You can see here, I don't have player photo selected. I don't like the way it looks. Okay. Video and sound. You can use your own sounds in this game too, which is super, super cool. Um, so this is the video speed. You want to play with this a little bit because the new feature in Action PC 2025 is that balls more realistically now will carry them off of outfield walls and stuff like that. Sometimes throws are too fast, sometimes they look too slow. This is something you're going to have to just experiment with it. Sound effects. This is just, it is what it says. You want plate music. So, and how long should it last? Um, and if you're just playing this at home, you can make them as long as you want. If you're a content creator, do be aware of fair use copyright because you can get a strike. Okay. Do you want homework fireworks? I don't do them. They don't look like they do in Out of Park baseball. National anthem, sure. Seventh inning stretch, absolutely. And home team victory song, I guess. I don't have one. You go to custom sounds, you can create your own sounds, and if you're a musician like me and you have all kinds of stuff, you could really go nuts with this. I don't play around with this at all because I would just rather play baseball, but so you can do that. Okay, X out of it. Play by play. Started game comments, turn those off or on. So all of this stuff here. Okay, a lot of this now is just really self-explanatory. This is where you can set a default park image. So I could set this to Anaheim and just assign it as the new default park image. I'm not going to do that, but there's a way to do that. Box and reports. Too much going on here to talk about. Just go in and see what it does. Okay. And then miscellaneous. This is where you can choose if you want to play in pitch by pitch mode overall. So the only time I put this in pitch by pitch mode is in game if it's a close situation. I never touch this. Some people do. Okay. Now down here, manager options. You could do computer base coach, computer base stealing, warn me before my pitcher bats, no computer subs, human subs only. So maybe I want to have a computer base coach. Well, I could do that. So again, season to taste, guys. All right. Now we're going to only talk very briefly about the top menu because this gets crazy deep and it's beyond the scope of this little training video or this little overview video, okay? Because we're already at an hour and a half. Derek Bain says the draft function in Baseball Sims is extremely fun. Oh man, amen, brother. By the way, I got to do something for you, Derek. I have to give you a wrench. I'm just going to do that right here if I can. Yep. So Derek, you're a mod on this channel, okay? And you actually get the managing mod thing. So there. Next time you type, you're a mod. Thank you, Derek. Anyhow, Derek says the draft function in Baseball Sims is extremely fun and offers another dimension to gaming, especially if you draft all of the players. Oh yeah, it's so much fun. You really get to learn the entire player pool. Amen. And hopefully, Derek, you'll be able to talk more on that because it's what it's why I love what you're talking about, what Legend Sports Universe does. Um, is taking these players, doing these draft leagues, shaking it up. Nothing wrong with season replay, guys, but there's so much more you can do with digital baseball. So again, so tomorrow evening I'll be letting you guys know. This all works around Derek's schedule. I mean, it's going to be in the evening, and I'm not expecting Derek to stay around for our whole. If it turns into a 5 or 6 hour chin wag, but I hope I'm sure Derek will welcome questions. Come with them. But it's going to be a lot about what he does. And he is so right. And hopefully we'll remember to talk about that tomorrow. All right. Now, these menu choices up at the top, guys, these are ones you're not going to maybe use so much. So down here, we just said play, right? And you saw that play screen come up. But up here, you can play an exhibition. You can play an unscheduled league game, a scheduled league game. This is also where you can resume games. And you can also do a playoff game. So playoff games from here, playoff games are ways that you kind of you can already set up a tournament. So let's say you just wanted to do a tournament, either of players or teams from all throughout the history of baseball, or you wanted to set up, okay, who would be in a tournament? Let's set up a tournament for 1968. Well, you can do it. So these live kind of inside here. So you don't have to wait for the end to do a playoff, right? Or do a kind of tournament. This is where you set it up. Okay? Pretty simple to do it. You can set pairings, clear pairings, all this stuff. Okay? Right now we're going to exit. Unscheduled league games does keep stats. The only stats that aren't kept are exhibition games. So again, if we were to play Boston, the Red Sox versus the Yankees, it's not going to keep those stats. It's not going to affect player fatigue, anything like that. So you can play an exhibition and just have fun. Okay? We go to organize. Already you can see why I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. This is deep dive stuff now. Especially here. So if we go here to like edit records, league records, all-time records, generate default player ratings, team managers, here we can do a player search. Model league, you can create all-star games right at the beginning. Transactions and roster tools. Reports are ridiculously deep in this game. So the what if, let's do a what if. Let me show you the what if. What if is kind of cool. So you can say, what if, let's take a team like, let me see. So we're going to do, let's do all teams, view batters, and what if they were in, I don't know, Arlington Stadium, and then use whatever year below. You can see how hitters will do in a certain year, or a batter will do a certain year, whatever. This is super cool. I don't want to spoil anything because there's a lot you can look at here. Play with it. It's nice. The what if is super cool. But if we go back here to, where were we? Reports. Good God. So just under players, look at this. You've got the whole database: batting, pitching, fielding, replay versus real batting, pitching. Leaderboards are here. Leaders by date. So as you want to really track your replay, you can do it right here. Leaders by date. Who are your playoff leaders? You can go in the encyclopedia, which we're not going to really talk about too much tonight. The encyclopedia is another rabbit hole. Top salaries, if you care. Top ratings. All right. So, and you can also do customizable reports in this as well. You can do full team reports. You can compare teams. You can do team versus team game logs. You can do roster analysis in this game, which is super cool. And you can get here just a nice glance at all of this. So really a lot going on here. And again, everything's sortable. Everything's sortable. Okay. Staying on reports here for a minute. We can look at standings for replay versus real standings, standings by date as you're going along. Games, you can do game recaps. You can search for box scores, game films. So what game films are basically is every single line of play-by-play. So it's not like out of the park baseball where you can say watch game, and if you have that set in out of the park baseball, you're literally watching the entire game. But this is a great way to look at, when you're studying box scores and say, oh, geez, I want to see what happened in the sixth inning or what have you. Okay. So for the league, home and road records by month, team versus team chart, league games played, team salaries, all stars. Then you can look at both leagues or either league records, league records, a whole pile of them, all time records, a whole pile of them. You can look at injuries, current and injury history, top performances by player or by team, hitting streaks, manager of the year, highlights. Wow, just lots of stuff. Batter versus pitcher matchup analysis. I have never seen anything like this in a digital baseball game. And Derek Bain might be the person to correct me, but I've never seen something like this at this depth in a game. You can use this in game, and this will change. And let me show you what will happen. So let's pick a visiting team. Since we were talking about Boston and New York, let's take Boston. And let's take the Yankees because that's what you do in baseball, right? So there we go. So I can say, let's look at Rico Petrocelli, okay? And how is he gonna, right? So let's do batting versus, let's do it like this, okay? Let's do, make this a little bit easier here, okay? All right. So how is he going to do, right? How are they going to do batting versus Talbot, right? So we can see what each player is going to do. We're going to see the percentage of a chance for hit, doubles, triples, home run, duns, and percentages. Pitching. So pitching versus Rocky Colavito, we can see all of that. Batting versus Gibson. Or pitching versus Gibson, batting versus Ellsworth. Great way to kind of look at just getting a kind of capsule overview. This doesn't mean it's set in stone, but it gives you a great way to set up rosters. But what's better is seeing this in game because it makes a lot more sense. So hopefully this is you kind of find this fun. I think it's super super cool. You just kind of read it as an X and have fun with it. Okay. Lots more and reports. Here's how we draft. Ballparks we went over. This is for internet play. Set up active season. You can do like when you do play by play. Look at this. So you can actually do play by play descriptions and create your own type of play by play, right? I only use the play-by-play in this game if I'm broadcasting and something looks wonky on the field. I need to see what happens. But you can do your own play-by-play in this game pretty much. You can set each thing and its percentage of the usage in inside the game. So, a foul ball or this one down the right field line, okay? So you can do a search on play-by-play and you can add in and stuff and save your own play-by-play file. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. We're almost at the end of this part of it. Import. This is important from year to year um, as you buy new editions of Action PC Baseball. So basically what this means is anything that you've done in a previous season, you can bring right in. So games, managers, park information, like we talked about. Okay, colors, nicknames, logos, player photo assignments, historical team colors, and a user created player spreadsheet. Just remember to keep everything in your DK Sports data directory, and this is a snap. Okay, you can export games. You can zip league files. So if you're playing in an old-fashioned type league, you can zip these league files up, or like the way Steve Tate and Big Clue do it in their Fields of Dreams league. These league files are zipped up, sent to Steve. He makes whatever changes. Like, let's say you're in a league, you're making changes, whatever. You're going to send this to your commissioner. That's really what that is. Utilities. Lots of good stuff in here we're not going to go over. Um, but basically, how to create a blank league, new draft league, clean league folders. Good thing to do every once in a while. If you're starting to get some weird kind of glitchy, buggy, strange stuff, or things aren't working exactly, go to clean league folders. Install, we went over. You can reinstall photos, sound files, but this is where you install season. User mods, these are all there. There's baseball manual is here under help, along with an FAQ, shop for seasons, right from in game, and then exit is, well, it's exit. So that was a lot, but that should give it an hour and 45 minutes, a pretty good idea. And you have a way now that you have a kind of manual that you can stop, look at screens, play with it. You're not going to break it. You're not going to break the game. Have fun. If you make a lot of drastic changes and you want to compare, just you can back up you can back up your league. You can back up your league. It's not a problem, and you always have the zip file of the original league. So, another nice thing about this game is if it crashes, you start it right back up. You can pick from a list where you were in that game or any games you've played, so you never lose any data if this crashes. If out of the park baseball crashes, that sucks. Nice thing is that game rarely crashes. Um, this one, this one can at times crash. It's written in Visual Basic, but brilliantly so. I don't know if there's any other questions, but again, I hope you enjoyed this little overview. I don't know if anybody wants to do a game. If not, we'll just jump out of here now. It's 11:05 p.m. This will be a short one. 14th April, while everybody decides, 14th April, Digital Diamond version 13 looks like it's going to be really, really exciting. Legends, what do you got coming up as far as FSBL, boxing, whatever? If you don't mind a little bit of typing, let us know what you got coming up. Anybody, whatever you're doing, let's talk about it if you want. Always interested in what you guys are doing. Always, 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 always. Cards and Dice Digital. Any research you're doing. What baseball books are you reading? What baseball films? What are you thinking about? You know, anything. Feel free. Feel free. Feel free. Um, Down here, I forgot to show you this last little thing. Were recent leagues. If you click this, this is a great way to just find some leagues that you've played with before. And we're going to pick one here from Steve Tate, and this is a freebie. I don't think this is the latest version. I didn't load the. I have it, but so what this is, what you're seeing, all these glorious teams and all this kind of stuff, is that what Steve did is a 5-year franchise file. There's one for the National League, one for the American League. It takes. He started to be like, these would be like the franchises, like a top slice of 5 years. I guess the best way to explain that. Let's pick let's pick a newer season for everybody. Here, we'll get down here. So here's for 1970-79, we see 1974 Cincinnati. Let's bring that up. So this is the Cincinnati Reds players, 72 to 76, and that record. This is all free, and why Steve Tate deserves a huge amount of thanks from all of us is because this is not DK Sports data. It wasn't like Steve just imported a bunch of players. Steve actually carded every player in here, painstakingly so. These are available if you go on APC. It's APC Community. Just Google it. You can find these, um, and they're a bunch of fun to play. Steve has said he never meant this to be something that you would play out as a league. I mean, it's just mammoth. I forget how many teams are in here. I think there's like 90 or something like that, maybe more. But this is a great way, as I showed you. If I created a blank draft league, I could just start importing these teams. So maybe, okay, I'm going to throw in these, the 26 Pirates, right, which is actually covering these Pirates from 24 to 28, because this is the 100th anniversary of the 1925 Pittsburgh Pirate Championship. Maybe I want to bring them into the league, and I want to bring in a great 5-year span of the Brooklyn Dodgers. I mean, you get the message. So that's really what this is. You could also bring in a bunch of these teams, dump these guys into draft pools, draft them. It's virtually limitless what you can do with this. In fact, I'm so enamored of this and can't decide exactly what I want to do. All I've ever done with these so far is just exhibition games, and that's fun already. So, um, I guess we could. I don't know. I don't think any of these things are set up yet with. Yeah, so I haven't set any logos or anything, but that doesn't matter. Let's do a little bit of an exhibition game here. Why not? Just to show a couple more things in game, and then we'll get out of here. We got 12 people hanging out, so cool, cool, cool. Let's go to, you guys don't seem like 1970s baseball folk, so let's do some 1970s baseball. I wish I had we'll do like 70s and against present day or something, because I don't have the American League loaded in here. So we were doing Cincinnati Reds, so let's do an exhibition game, and let's pick Cincinnati from 72 to 76. All right. And let's play them against, let me see. What about, no, not those Phillies. I don't want to go that far back. Boy, never thought I'd say that, but I don't want to go that far back. Let's play them against the Giants from 62 to 66. We're going to be playing at Candlestick Park. And again, just an exhibition game, and we're going to play it on April 26th. Let's play it. Okay, and I guess we'll let the computer handle, doesn't matter. They can handle the Giants. Okay, so we can see down here that Sanford is going to be starting. He's a righty, so I would just do computer versus rate, and then just do computer lineup, and everything is ready to rock. And I just want to make sure I don't have the dreaded DH. You can see down here we've got Riverfront, so I guess I did pick Cincinnati as the home team. If you want photos of your players, just click photos. There they are. Baseball cards. This is such a cool new feature. This has been here now for the past 2. So these kind of are reminiscent of sort of the backs of baseball cards. And you can, in game, you can actually see who's up to bat and all this kind of stuff. So nice for some quick reference too. Okay, let's go. Right. Welcome to Candlestick Park for today's game between Cincy 72 to 76 and San Francisco 62 to 66. It's going to be Jack Billingham for the Reds, and he will be opposed by Jack Sanford for the Giants. So it's 67 degrees here today in San Francisco. The wind speed 15 miles per hour out to left field, and there's a light rain falling. Billingham 16 and 11 with a 3.10 earned run average will lock up against Jack Sanford. 20 wins, 10 losses, and a 3.47. So, yeah, a little light rainfall in here in San Francisco, but that's okay. And let's play ball. All right. So, again, I could have chosen to have the floating head talkie thingies, but I just don't like it. So I like the pitcher up here, batter down here. Just makes more sense to me. You can choose again in those option screen if you want to stack the pitcher and batter down here. You can choose whether you want to show lineups or not, and that's it. Down here you've got controls. So to hit, to take, I can also just have the computer call the play. Up here I can look at I can do a text replay. Um, I can look at the box score in game. Nothing to look at yet. If I hit V, I get a sort of video replay. And then the Q, which is grayed out, is if you're human managing both teams, you can just hit a Q and it will just kind of quick play, and then you can jump in and manage. Okay, so I'm just going to hit C and let it go. And Jack Sanford ready to deal. There we go. First pitch swinging. Hiller up with it and on to stretch. So 1 up, 1 down now. And here's Charlie Hustle. 1-2 pitch to Rose. Grounder to Hiller. Hiller once again goes to McCovey. So 2 up, 2 down for Cincinnati. Brings up Joe Morgan. First lefty in the lineup. 3-1 pitch. Oh, Joe Morgan draws the walk. Boy, you don't want Joe Morgan on base this early. So when you hover over a player, you get that baseball card, and which is really, really cool up here. You get to see that his run rating, his stolen base jump, the way it used to be in Action PC Baseball, you just get this kind of little box. This is better. And again, just for reference, you got all this kind of stuff to look at here. So really, really like this. Hey, Random Human. Yeah, decent real life pickup Candlestick. Yep. Place of the last until the Apple concert. This was the last official, or this was the last live concert the Beatles ever played in 1966 at the Stick. So good to see you, Random Human. There are more than 63 teams. I loaded in an earlier one, John. This is not the latest version. I think this can do 120 teams per league. So that tells you how much room and whatever you have in Action PC Baseball. But these are, if that's what you're talking about. So, yeah. All right, so Joe Morgan. So sorry I missed your show the other night where you were discussing the various baseball games. Random Human, thank you though for, you were missed. Everybody's missed when they're not here. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope you caught a little bit of it. So you have a lot to say about that. Well, if you're around tomorrow night, we do our chin wag. I'm not on StreamYard right now, so I can't bring anybody on. OBS doesn't do that. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts, or if you just want to even type them into the chat, please do. And I want to thank the community again for understanding I wasn't out to like beat up on Strat. I just think that, in my opinion, that there are better digital baseball alternatives out there. All right, here's George Foster. Let's see if he can crank one out of here against Jack Sanford. And here's the pitch, the throw down, and Joe Morgan picks up a stolen base. So Morgan in scoring position. You don't want to let him on the base paths if you're the San Francisco Giants. Sanford deals. Oh, throw back. And Joe Morgan is not buying it. Jesse Aspel says, the great Paul McCartney, oh my God, best was the last live. So the Beatles did their last in 1966, and McCartney closed Candlestick. Awesome, very appropriate. I still got to rename the channel because even though the Beatles, I didn't grow up with them, but they're the reason I'm a musician. I think there's a lot of Beatles fans that see that and say, "Oh, there's a Beatles thing," and then there's like baseball. So I think I've pissed off a lot of my sister and brother Beatles fans, or it's not, or whatever. But people know me as Beatles, so I guess I won't change it. Thanks for that. I had no idea that McCartney was the final live concert at the Stick. That's pretty cool. Fitting, I think. Random Human says it's mostly about that in today's world, bidding critical doesn't mean you hate, right? And the players who like one game over another are dumb and stupid. No, absolutely. Shame today. Anything constructive sets people off. Yeah. And that's why I reiterated so many times in that look, I'm not here to say your game sucks, or you suck for playing this game. But you do have to, it's a bit more of a minefield these days. I will agree. All right, here's George Foster. 0-1 pitch. Foster, high pop up toward third. Jim Ray Hart has it for the final out. So the Reds strand a runner. We go to the bottom of the first in this exhibition game between the Reds of the early 70s and the Giants of the early 60s or later 60s, wherever I put them. I have no idea. Yeah, 62 to 66. All right. Starting defense for the Reds, we didn't look at the Giants. In left field, George Foster. In center, Cesar Geronimo. And in right, Ken Griffey Sr. At first base, Tony Perez. At second, Joe Morgan. At short, Dave Concepcion. At third, Pete Rose catching, of course, Johnny Bench and Jack Bellingham to face Jose Pagan. We'll lead things off here. And here we go. I see it blacked it out up there. I have to change that. Harvey Keene waits on deck. Willie McCovey in the hole. Bellingham deals 1-1 pitch to Jose Pagan. Pagan, hard hit ground ball to second. Morgan getting to it quickly and feeds it on to first for the out. So one down now for Harvey Keene. 0-2 pitch. Keene cut on. And Dave Concepcion gets to that ball, ranging far to his right, making the off-balance throw to get the speedy Pagan. So great play there for Concepcion, number 13. And here is Stretch batting with 2 down. Dangerous hitter here. 1-1 pitch. Cut on by McCovey, and this was just a little dribbler to third. Rose on the hop. Close play, and they get McCovey by a step. So nothing across. We go to the top of the second inning. No score. Let's continue. Random Human says, Stratomatic is a fine game. Yep, but there are lots of areas for improvement. Amen, brother. And the devs should want to hear that, not just that their product is perfect. Amen, man. And that's really what I'm saying. That you have games going back to older games, like even old-time baseball was doing things back then that Strat's kind of touting now, or Baseball for Windows was doing back then that Strat has just added, or what have you. My main thing about Strat is their pricing. It just doesn't make sense to me, and the fact that you have to buy their game every year. I don't have to buy this game every year to play the newest season. I don't. And I know a lot of guys that are still playing Action PC Baseball 2023. They're 2 editions behind. And they buy the 2024 season or the 2025 projection disc, season, whatever, you can play it. You might be missing some of the new features. One that I want to show you in game that I showed you before game. So this is the batter pitcher analysis tool, but in game, and this will fluctuate depending upon game situation. So that's what makes this super unique inside game. So I can look not only, and we're not going to pinch hit for Johnny Bench, obviously, but I can look at Johnny Bench, or let's say I click on Dennis, you know, I can look at any of these players here, and I can see how they would do against certain pitchers. So later on, if somebody's bringing in a reliever and you want to maybe you want to kind of do a little bit of Billy Ball, or yeah, not Billy Ball, Money Ball, you want to really study these stats, this gives you some pretty nice percentages and stuff, and it works out pretty well. So really, really nice. If you click anywhere in the field, you get the lineups, and you can choose what to look at there. The 2 of the coolest features, what I'll show you right now, in the line score on the scoreboard, if you hover over an inning, you get a recap of the inning. Never seen anything like that. As there, we can see the box score as it's going along just by hovering up near it. Boop, and it pops up. You can hide it. When we go through a batting order and we hover over a player here, we can see what he's done at each at bat. All right, anyhow, here's Johnny Bench. 2-1 pitch, Bench, and Hiller with plenty of time on that one on the 4-3 put out. So one away now for Tony Perez. I just want to get through like, oh, Perez, high fly ball, center field. Willie Mays has it all the way. 2 down now for Cesar Geronimo. 1-2 pitch. Little bouncer back to the mound. Sanford fires to McCovey. and the Reds go in order. We go to the bottom of the second. We are scoreless. Aaron Reed joining us, man. So Random Human says if there are newbies here for him, Action PC is the best overall baseball game. He says you can't go wrong if you sink a ton of time, effort, and money into it. So I will also speak to that. So when back in Europe, I never had, cost of living's a bit higher there, but still love it, miss it. Never had the $400 or $500 to plunk down at one time to just buy all the seasons for this game. So it took me a number of years, probably a good 5, 6 years of buying a decade here, or a few seasons there, or this product here, there, whatever. And I tallied up what I spent because I would buy a lot of stuff even when it wasn't on sale. So much I love DK Sports, but I did buy a lot on. But even adding it up, I've invested a lot of money in this game, and if I had to start all over again, I would. I love this. I absolutely love Action PC Baseball. It's my second favorite baseball sim. Love it. So, amen. So for Random Human, it's his favorite. For me, it's a very close second, but very, very close. I can do pretty much almost. What's missing here, of course, is minor league ball and um, some other sorts of things. And it's also strictly as far as for seasons. There's no career mode in this game. It's strictly a season replay or a fantasy league type thing. Um, and so I don't expect it to be like out of the park baseball, and it does some things out of the park baseball doesn't do. So I agree with you there, brother. All right, here's Willie Mays. Aaron Reed, how you doing, buddy? And Mays, little squibber down their third. Rose has it, and he fires on to Tony Perez for the first out. I'm not really calling a game, just having fun here talking to you guys now. All right, here's Jim Ray Hart. And Hart swings, line drive, base hit to right, and makes the cut there at first. And he is in there with a one-out double. So the Giants get the first hit in this ball game. And here's Felipe Alou now. Righty digs in, Billingham with the 0-1 pitch. Alou swings, high fly ball to left. And this one down in the glove of George Foster. Nowhere for Jim Ray Hart to go. So he just hangs out at the Keystone sack. And now here's the catcher, Tom Haller. 1-1 pitch. Haller swings, fly ball, center field. Geronimo back on it. Makes the catch for the final out. So no runs, one hit, no errors. Two in the books here. Candlestick Park. Exhibition between the Reds and the Giants. And no score. So 7, 8, 9 due up here. Or I'm sorry, yeah, 8, 9, and 1 due up here. So Concepcion, Billingham, and back at the top of the order, Ken Griffey. Sanford with the 0-1 delivery. Hard ground ball. Jim Ray Hart having trouble holding on to it. Keeps it in front of him. So hold Concepcion to a single. But score that one, E5, and it's not going to count, though, because it's an exhibition. All right, so Concepcion aboard. And pretty good wheels on Concepcion there, as we can see. All right, here's Jack Billingham now. Infield playing in the corners. Nobody out. Throw over to first. And safe. Throw to first again. Trying to keep Concepcion close over there. 0-1 pitch. Bounced foul first base side. Pitch comes home. Throw down. Concepcion steals the base. So Cincinnati bringing a little bit of running action here. And the 1-2 pitch. Billingham swings. Hard ground ball to short. Pagan to McCovey. Looking Concepcion back. So one away. We're back at the top of the order. And now I can show you that other cool feature. When I go over Ken Griffey's name, showed me that he grounded to second back in the first. And for each at bat, this list will grow. That's really all I wanted to take the game to. In fact, let's show you a couple things in here. So we go to options. For instance, we were talking about stats. Let's go to setup. And I said that a lot of guys will play, like some guys will play 3/4 screen. Now you can see what the game looks like in 3/4 screen. So you get a larger play-by-play. Hover over Griffey there. Nothing's changed up here as far as box score. We can look at it, hide it. Again, you still have all of this, but you have here more stats to look at, just right off the bat. And there's all your choices. Things like that. So we're going to go ahead and CPU. I don't usually play in this mode, but I just wanted to show you this. 3-1 pitch on the way. Griffey draws the walk. You want to switch back, go to options and setup, and just go back to full screen. And boop, and there you go. Fewer stats or whatever, wherever they are up here, they're not, right? Since we're not going to play a full game tonight, let's show you how to do some things here. So if you go to quick, you go to zoom, and let's take this game up to the 6th inning, the end of the 6th. So it's going to sim it out. And let's see where we are. Tight ball game. Giants leading the Reds right now 2-1. So again, we can hit the box score even if right here. We can look at play-by-play. So you can see it's saving the play-by-play as a text file. So we could, if you wanted to, you want to read everything you missed, there it is. So even a lot of features definitely in game here. We can change lineup display, real averages. We can see what we want to look at here. So you can look at batting leaders in game. You can look at the weathers. You can, if there were the 10-minute ticker, if we had it on, we would get a little 10-minute ticker action there. I think there's really, you can look, of course, look at rosters for both teams if and you want. And that's it. That is it. Yeah, if you want what ifs, go with Out of the Park Baseball. I would say Out of the Park Baseball also is a very, very good season replay engine, but I think that Out of the Park Baseball's career mode is really such a strength for it, and also Drive for the Pennant, which available for every baseball season. But yeah, I think for I got to remember to turn that off. For season replays, this is a superb game and super customizable. All right. Here's the pitch to Griffey. 0-2 pitch, and this one laced into right, base hit. Or let's say wrapped to right for a base hit, since we like a little bit of alliteration. All right, here's Pete Rose. What's he done in this game so far? So he's grounded out twice and he's flown out. Sanford throws over. Griffey back. So Griffey can get a decent jump to steal. Has some wheels. Sanford lets it go. And little nubber to first. McCovey will take it to the bag unassisted. On the play, Ken Griffey moves to second. And for Aaron Reed, this is Ken Griffey Sr., by the way. And Bobby Bonds, if he's in here somewhere. I don't know if he is. Bobby Bonds in this? No, he's not in this. All right. 2-2 pitch. And Morgan sends this one high to center. Mays going back and short of the track makes the catch. Griffey holds second, 2 away now for George Foster. George Foster grounded out his last time up. 0 for 3 in the game. 3-1 pitch. Foster takes ball 4. So 5th walk issued here by Jack Sanford, holding on to this 2-1 lead here in the Cincinnati 7th. Johnny Bench, 1 for 2. When did he get that hit? That was back in the 4th. It was a single to left, walked in the 6th. Sanford brings it home. 2-1 pitch, and Bench lost this one to left. And making the catch is Harvey Keene. 7th inning stretch time. As Aaron likes to say, let me hear ya. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Boy, this is such a tight ball game. Let's play it a little bit more. All right, here is Chuck Hiller now. It's flown out twice. Bench sets up. Billingham delivers. 2-0 pitch. Hiller, fly ball, shallow right, ranging in and making the catch is Ken Griffey. All right, here's Jack Sanford. We're going to let him hit for himself. Why not? 0-2 pitch. And Sanford, big swing and a miss. Billingham bring a little off-speed action there. All right, back at the top of the order now, Jose Pagan had a double back in the 5th. And Pagan sends this one deep to left field, but not high enough. That will end the inning as Foster brings that one down. No runs, no hits, no errors. 7 in the books. Giants over the Reds, 2-1. Since we did zoom past, let's look at the scoring. So what happened here? How'd the Giants get their 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning? So Alou with a double, and then there was a wild pitch that advanced Alou to third. And then Tom Haller flied to center. It was a sack that scored Alou on 1 out. Let me see. Then Sanford singled. Pagan doubled. So Pagan was just like, yeah, just a busy man there. And then Harvey Keene with the RBI single that scored Jack Sanford. Then in the top of the 6th inning, the Cincinnati Reds, Dave Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo doubled. And then Concepcion with an RBI single that scored Johnny Bench, who actually walked to start the inning. So I love that you can just do that. The Reds have stranded 10, the Giants 5. So rain ending here, sun peeking through the clouds as Tony Perez stands in now. Nothing for 3 for Tony, including 2 strikeouts. The 0-1 pitch on the way, Perez swings, and this one, sharp grounder to third. It's going to be close, but they got him. Nice play over there by Jim Ray Hart for the first out of the inning. And Cesar Geronimo, 2 for 3 on the day. Sanford deals, 2-0 pitch. Swung on, grounded to short. Pagan to his right, fires on to stretch for the second out of the inning. And here comes Dave Concepcion, 1 for 2 in the game, including a walk. Had an RBI that scored Johnny Bench, as we said, back in the 6th. Sanford into the wind in the 1-1. Concepcion swung on, grounder up the third base line. Jim Ray Hart sets and throws across the diamond for out number 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Giants still lead the Reds 2-1. So, folks hanging out tonight, thank you. We are well past now the... but imagine, guys, we went an hour and 45 minutes, and that was a basic overview. So you know how deep this game is. But play with it; it's fun. Random Human, he's absolutely right about this one, man. I would buy every season all over again. I would do all the work, all the ballparks, look for the logos, all the things. You cannot go wrong. And again, for digital baseball, the best customer service, bar none. And more, just, I don't care, more game companies, period, could learn from Dave Cook and crew out there in Wisconsin, man. Just absolutely phenomenal. There are not enough superlatives to adequately describe their customer service. It's off the charts amazing. All right, back to the game. So here's Harvey Keene, had himself an RBI single back in the 5th. Good day for Keene at the plate, 2 for 3. Harvey Keene known as a singles hitter, of course. Billingham deals, 0-2 pitch, and Keene will send this one kind of running parallel to the line and left, and that will be out number 1. Here's Willie McCovey, disappointing the fans a little bit here at the stick. He was hit by a pitch back in the 4th, but Willie looking to show some power here. Can it happen? 0-1 pitch. And look at this. Oh, no, too high, not deep enough. Griffey back on it at the edge of the warning track. Makes the catch for 2 down. And here's the Say Hey Kid. Doubled his last time up. Billingham deals. Mays, high fly ball to left. And George Foster has it. we go to the top of the ninth inning, and the Reds down to their last chance. So Jack Billingham in there, and we're just going to let it go. Nope. We are going to see Terry Crowley come in to pinch hit. So here we go. Sanford to the hard hit ball up the middle, but Hiller cuts it off. Beautiful play. Sanford has reached his. So here's where we're going to go to our pitcher matchup. Oh, I can't change the computer lineup. Okay. See if the computer brings in here. See if they're going to allow. See if the computer manager allows Sanford to get this complete game win. Pitch to Ken Griffey. I don't know, man. Hard line drive to right. Felipe Alou up with it. Sanford is tired. And brings up Pete Rose. So the San Francisco manager playing with fire here. Throw over. And Griffey is safe. Infield guarding the lines here. 0-1 pitch on the way. Pete Rose swings. Shot back to the mound. Sanford to McCovey. Out number 2 on the play. Griffey Sr. moves to second. It's down to Joe Morgan. Can he do something big here for the Reds? Well, he's 0 for 3 with a walk, and he's flown out his last 2 times up at the dish. 1-2 pitch. Joe Morgan strikes out. This was a good one. 2-1 exhibition game as the mid-60s Giants take care of the mid-70s Reds 2-1. Let's look at our quick game recap here, and then we are going to end it. Sanford with the win, Billing with the loss. The line score for San Francisco 62-66, 2-7-1. For Cincinnati 72-76, 1-6-0. So Billingham tagged with the loss here. 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout. Jack Sanford gets the 9-inning win, gave up 1 earned run, walked 5, and struck out 4. That film that I was talking about is not available during the game. We have to actually would exit the game, but you would see the whole complete like kind of film of the game. There's the play-by-play, but the film gives you like the descriptive play-by-play. This will show you the count and what happened for the entire game. That way, if you are so inclined to get into sort of deep analysis, there's the game. Okay, game recap is gonna give you exactly what it says in the tin. This creates a score sheet as it goes along. Pretty nice stuff. Miscellaneous will give you your player of the game, which if you play an exhibition game, it doesn't give you a player of the game. So we see that Tom Haller, not that we care anymore, game-winning RBI, who cares? But there you go, wild pitches, all that stuff. Nice little game recap. And that's it, guys, for our little look at Action PC Baseball. Whew. Hope you guys find it helpful, the new folks. And for guys like Random Human, he's like, man, it's a great game. So, and it really, really is. The customizability in this is absolutely amazing. What I would answer to you, Random Human, is this game does a good what if too. Not in career mode, but does a great what if too. We did our first McGreevy League in this, and in fact, the guys who played in the Fields of Dreams League, they are in season 9, and this is the game they're using. So, and they're doing a kind of, well, you know the league. I don't have to tell you what they do there. So, both games, man, they are almost what one lacks the other one has, and I think I can't pick one really. I think if you have these 2 digital baseball games, in my opinion, for me, these give me everything I want. Certainly, Baseball for Windows is fantastic. Diamond Mind is wonderful. Pocket Pennant Run, up and coming, damn fine game. It's a hybrid. Digital Diamond Baseball has tons of capabilities as well. I can't speak to those anywhere near as well as Dwayne Martz, however, so I wouldn't even pretend to do it. So that's all, guys. Thank you for joining me for Friday night. I'll be reaching out to Derek Bain when I get home from work tomorrow to see what time works for Derek. And Derek is the man. Baseball sims, deep statistical analysis. How does all that tie together? I've shown his website here a number of times. He is so absolutely magnanimous with the tutorials that he does for the games that we play. His books are superb, and just can't wait to have Derek on here. So tomorrow night, I know I've been saying I wanted to like pimp it out over a couple weeks and stuff, but caught Derek in here tonight, and usually we get a decent amount of people here on a Saturday. So I will be advertising it, and I hope you'll join us tomorrow night for Baseball Chinwag featuring Derek Bain. At least we hope if the times work out. He says he's free, so all right. I don't know if I don't see anybody new here to Action PC Baseball, so I guess we're not going to worry about too many questions. But we capped out tonight pretty well for the size of this family at 17 views. Thank you, guys. Aaron Reed, thank you. Random Human, always a treat to have you in here. John DFW, what can I say, brother? Always, always, always great to have you. Tessier Ashpool, man, thank you. And thank you for that bit of Beatles trivia. Or Paul McCartney trivia, I should say. I didn't know that about McCartney closing, doing the last concert at the Stick. I think that's super, super cool. Derek, I don't know if he's left, but Derek, again, you are a mod now. Look forward to tomorrow night. Legend Sports Universe. Legend Sports Universe. So, guys, you know I've gushed, dished, whatever. Just go to that channel, catch some of the best damn baseball you're gonna catch anywhere. Samuel Smith, my good friend, thank you. Dwayne Martz, always great to see you. Corey Highfield, thank you, buddy, for coming in. Really, really appreciate you. D. Scott Howard, he's been with me since the beginning. Arnold Hunter, and of course, Advocate 8, Nathaniel Nate, first one in the park tonight. All right, so till tomorrow night, guys, when we do our baseball chinwag, play some baseball, man. For most of you guys, you're off Saturdays and Sundays. Um, Play some baseball, have some fun, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.